we saw Batman Caped Crusader. It just came out on Amazon Prime. All 10 episodes, right?
All 10 episodes.
10 episodes. All 10 episodes dropped all at once, and they're about 22 minutes each. Not bad time-wise, but what do you guys think?
I'll start off by saying when this project was in development and Warner Brothers was going through its period of axing and canceling projects, I'm glad this show got a chance to live on its own and sold to another platform that let the viewer see it. So I'm glad that Prime gave it life and gave us a chance to watch it.
Okay. Now, I want to give everybody a little preface on this. This TV show is based in 1940. It looks very similar to the Batman animated series. Why? Because our good pal Bruce Timm jumped in and said, hey, I'll produce also with, I believe it was
Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams.
Which was, hey, I mean, you can't go wrong with those three names.
Well, to add some extra background for that, Warner Brothers approached him about doing a revived Batman animated series, and he flat out said no. Right. What could have been? You see the success of X-Men in '97.
Well, yeah, that's also true. But for anyone who's curious about seeing this, and for the ones who are old enough to say, that looks familiar, why do I know it before? It's because you saw Batman the Animated Series when you were a kid.
Exactly.
It's very similar art style, if not updated. As we said, we got the three big names in this. I didn't see Paul Dini in all this, but at the same time, that's fine. That was another name that I was just looking for. But they honestly, if you saw Batman the Animated Series and then you saw this, I think you're gonna have a great time. They did. There is some that I did want to bring up though.
And let me guess, it has to do with some swapping of characters?
Not exactly swapping of characters, but changes to certain characters.
Sure. Okay. So
they took some liberties with characters.
Yes, and I agree with you. So for example, Oswald Copperpot, who we know as the Penguin, is now Oswalda Copperpot, who is now a female.
Yeah.
They took what Matt Reeves did in his movie by having Jeffrey Wright play Commissioner Gordon, and they also made Jim Gordon and Barbara Gordon black in this.
I was okay with that. I didn't mind that at all.
Issues. To be honest, I don't even care about Cobblepot being a female.
Here's what I actually did want to say with that. Firstly, I agree absolutely with you guys. In fact, a friend pointed this out to me and was so enraged about all these changes that it doesn't do anything, and the original voice actors are rolling in their graves to the point where I'm like,
too much.
That's exactly what I say. And my response to that is, well, listen, if that's the case, then you have a problem with Montoya being a little heavy now. You have a problem with Harley Quinn being Asian and a lesbian.
Montoya was always a lesbian in the series.
You damn right she was.
They still made her a badass, I think.
But having said that, though, with all these changes, you really do have a problem, especially when the man who was running the show then, that you fell in love with the show back then,
is
still running the show now, and got all these changes approved and everything. You still have a problem with that? Get over yourself and just enjoy the show for what it is.
Yeah.
It's a TV show about Batman.
Agreed.
So my rant is now over.
So the hook that I think where they finally got Bruce Timm to sign up to do the show was wait a minute, I have ideas I wanted to use back in the day on the Batman anime series. I couldn't because the target audience was quote unquote kids, and Fox or then later the WB weren't going to let me to do it, so I can do more mature themes.
Yes.
And so the episodes we got were redacted ideas that he brought back to life and put into this show.
Correct.
That's great, and I'm okay with that. Now that I am thinking about it, I do have two problems with this show, story-wise, if I may. one of the issues, no, I won't get into like actual like content of the episodes, but one kind of vibe that I do have a little bit of, I don't want to say a problem, but it kind of irks me a little bit, is clearly we're getting Batman year one.
Yeah,
Right?
It's a young
Year,
Batman.
year
It is-
1 or 2.
No, this is year one.
Year 1.
And I
okay.
say that because if I find out that this is like Batman in his 10th year and
No.
he's making these kind of rookie mistakes,
No.
like
It's a young Batman.
that's what I mean. It's got to be year one. And you do see him like progress a little bit as a character, like in the actual show of him because my ultimate argument is human Batman is best Batman. I don't want to see Batman like taking the crap out of all these like criminals, throwing them in Arkham. It's like, I'm Batman, and running off into the night. I don't want to see that. But what I do want to see, I want to see Batman genuinely try to help these criminals and try to rehabilitate them.
I agree
And
with
I
you. I agree.
Felt
with
like
you.
I got a half-hearted thing.
You know
about
why?
that here.
You know why?
Why is
I'll
that?
tell you why.
Please tell me why.
Because in this show, Batman is not the center point of this show. If you notice, this whole show, Batman's the side character. This is mostly, you see mostly Jim Gordon. You see Barbara
Gordon.
You see Harvey Dent.
Mhm.
You see Harley Quinn. You see all these characters at the forefront. While as in the original series, it was always Batman and everybody else as the side character.
Mhm.
He stepped away. Now, to go back to what you said about him growing as a character, I feel like he did grow as a character because throughout the whole season, all 9 episodes in the beginning, he kept calling Alfred Pennyworth. By the time the series ended in episode 10, he said, Alfred.
That's true.
So there was
That is-
some growth in his character.
Spade, that is one thing that happened. That is the only thing that changed.
There was some growth.
That's one thing.
Nah.
Especially when you consider the fact the trauma that spoiler, Batman's parents die.
Again.
When they die at his ripe old age of 10 years old, and then he's in his 30s. He's been calling him Pennyworth since he's 10, and now he's in his 30s, and now you start calling him Alfred. Whoop-de-doo.
But you know what though? It showed that things happened to him, and when he realized that Alfred was about to die, and he told him, "Hey, I can't do this without you."
Yes.
What did that was a growth. Look,
I
growth
will
doesn't
agree with
happen
you with that,
overnight,
yes.
right? Growth doesn't happen overnight. Some people it takes days,
Except-
hours, weeks,
That's what I'm
months.
trying to say. But
For
here,
him, it took him
kinda
20
did
years.
happen overnight. Here it kind of did happen overnight, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
So my issue at first, but I grew to like it over the course of the show, was the time period in the 1940s. You see, with the animated series, it had an old school classy look, but it was still in the present day.
Right.
But
Yeah.
as the show progressed, I like the 1940s. It still had the old school look, the gangsters, the guns, which the classic 90s show still had, but it made it work. Also, if like you mentioned, Grim,
Mhm.
if you like the original show, you're gonna like this. In a way, it was a spiritual successor to the Batman animated
Yes,
series.
I'll agree. Yeah, absolutely, yes.
The look with the animation, the voices, the suit. I love that gray suit that they use.
That's something else that I was kind of hoping that we were going to get a nod to, because Lord forgive me, Internet forgive me, I forget what movie it was, but it was one of these animated movies. It wasn't, and it had to do with like jumping between dimensions and time travel, stuff like
Crisis
that.
on Infinite Earths.
No,
Oh.
it was one of the older ones.
Okay.
See, Johnny, it's a good thing I'm here right now. Basically, someone was like time traveling or like dimension jumping one of these. I want to say it was the Flash. It wasn't Flashpoint, but we actually did see like an old school interaction between the Flash and the Batman, and Batman looked very similar to this Batman right here,
Okay.
the first iteration of Batman in the comics. And we actually see like a second jump of like that same character coming back and interacting with the same Batman, but years later. And his look changed. He was still Batman, but we had the shorter ears, like the more bluish kind of suit. We had the fins on the gloves, and Flash. Let's say that this character was Flash. Flash says, "Oh, you look different. What happened?" And Batman, as always, dropping a cold line. As always, he just says, "I'm here to scare gangsters, not children." And I'm like, oh, that's so good, because they actually did that happen in the real world. So they changed Batman's look, because a lot of kids who comics are trying to enrapture and get to read is scaring children. So like, we have to do a model change. And that's what happened. And I was, not to give anything away, and I'm not going to give anything away, but there was specifically one episode, I believe it was episode 9, where there was a big interaction with said children. And I thought for a second, I'm like, oh, this is how we're actually this could have been another like maturing point, as we said earlier.
Or you're talking about the
Yes.
carnival one.
Yes,
Carnival
exactly.
episode. See, not to cut you off.
Yes.
But that episode was supposed to be in the original series.
Really?
Yes. And the reason why that episode was not in the series was because the girl was vampiric in that episode.
Man.
So because of that, Fox Kids says, we don't want any vampires. Just like the problem we had with Spider-Man, the animated series, where Morbius couldn't suck blood. He had to suck plasma.
He was the living vampire. He was a vampire in every single way, except he didn't drink blood. He
drank
absorbed
plasma.
He drank plasma.
Right.
Excuse me.
Right. So he couldn't do that. And because he couldn't do that, he brought it into this episode. But even in this episode, it's not like this girl is biting you and now drinking your blood.
I do have a question. I don't know if you have the answers to this or not.
I'm all ears.
Would the same cast of characters, you know what I'm talking about, would they also have been in that original episode with that original vampire? Because I would have had a problem.
I don't know.
Then. Because honestly, I have a problem with it now, with those 4 said characters.
Now, did you notice the names of those characters?
Yes.
What?
I was just thinking of it.
Okay.
That's exactly why I have a problem with this.
So let's talk about it real quick.
Good.
Every single one of them is Robins.
All the future Robins. The future
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm like, Dick. At first they said Dickie. Okay. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, coiffed hair, genetics that could give him the greatest ass in all of DC Comics? Maybe a possibility. Oh, here's another one. Oh, I like to be called Jace, but my real name is Jason. And I'm like, man, you're not about to make my favorite DC character like a little like, I don't know if we should be here, man. There's
Casey.
I'm building up
Carrie,
Casey.
sorry. Carrie.
No, I'm
No,
building up
Casey.
to this one.
Yeah.
No, it was Casey.
Yeah.
But I'm building up to that. Oh, there's another one. Her name, she wears a green sweater, a long blonde ponytail. Her name is Stephanie
Spoiler.
Brown. And I'm like, no, that's 3 Robins. And then we finally got to Casey. And I'm like, dog, 4 Robins. And my least favorite Robin, if I'm being honest. I'm like, really? This is the one that's going to take on the vampire?
You know what my problem
Come
was?
on.
They didn't bring Tim. How the hell do you not bring Tim Drake?
Because Tim would have solved this in 2 seconds.
you,
and he
thank
would
you.
have looked
I
at
was gonna
Batman.
just-
I'd be like, you're Bruce Wayne, aren't you? And I'm like, that's what.
I was just going to say that.
It's too powerful.
Because Tim is the greatest detective other than Bruce Wayne.
No, false. Tim is the greatest detective on the planet.
At least they didn't.
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Other than Bruce Wayne.
No, Bruce has admitted
Yes.
that he's like, no, Tim is the best detective on this planet.
Right. He's better than
me.
that. Yeah.
So just speculating here.
And that's my favorite Robin. Tim Drake. Go ahead.
Just
That's a good one to have.
just speculating this. I think that's probably an in-show joke that they put that, you know, Batman gets his Robins from orphanages and adopts them all. So that's why, like, let's do a nod. Let's all put all 4 future Robins together.
Batman looking at all these children. I'm gonna adopt all of you.
I'm another Robin. I'm glad I didn't put in there Damian.
You know what? At that point, I was literally wondering. I'm like, are they gonna put Damian in this now? Right after Casey? I'm like, come on. Stop this. Stop this mindless violence, please.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys.
I may have an answer.
How did you guys like the depiction of Harley Quinzel? Harley Quinn.
Bit better. Okay. So, let me talk to you.
Oh, here we go.
Caught me by surprise. I'll say that.
I kind of loved it. I loved it. I listen.
I didn't like the color scheme that they used. Other than that, I liked it. I liked her rendition of it.
Yeah.
Because it was like sort of like the opposite
Mhm.
of what the original TV show was, right? The original TV show, you had serious Dr. Quinn.
Harley Quinzel.
Right.
No.
She was serious.
No.
Okay.
We're
Hold
talking
on.
about animated series, right?
Yes. When she was a doctor,
Okay.
when she was a
Harley Quinn for a
no,
second.
no,
I'm
no.
like,
That's why I
what are
said
you
doctor.
on?
No. That's why I said doctor.
Okay,
As she was the doctor, she was more serious. When she became Harley Quinn,
Mhm.
she was jokey and everything like that.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, in this series, Dr. Quinn Zell,
Mhm.
because that's her name.
There you go.
Okay, so Dr. Quinzel was a little loony, right? And then when they did Harley Quinn, she was more methodical, more
I would
more
argue,
serious.
argue bubbly and not loony. Like
Okay,
she
fine,
was
bubbly, yes.
approachable. She was a good friend.
Agreed.
She knew what she wanted. She looked at Montoya and was like,
Hello.
Hey, Bob, can you hook a girl up?" And I'm like, "I salute you, doctor. Let's go."
Do you guys
Like
like
this love.
Do you guys like they introduced this character instead of the traditional way with her connection to the Joker?
So
Go ahead.
I was gonna let me save that for the end of the conversation because I have thoughts and prayers for that. But going on with like Harley Quinn with this, like I said, I love everything that they did with her. I loved Dr. Quinzel. I loved how she was a genuine friend, and we did see that up until the end of her own episode. I do love the whole dynamic of Harley Quinn and her trying to quote unquote fix her like really bad patients, and to the
Okay.
point where I'm like, actually, there is a thing in that I looked at. I'm like, because there was an interaction between Dr. Quinzel and Bruce Wayne, and I thought to myself, I'm like, why are you not trying to do this with Bruce Wayne like you're trying to do with everyone else?
Right.
So I was a little curious about that, but
One thing I want to talk about the work of the voice cast.
Well,
phenomenal.
before you go on to that, I got another quick question for you guys.
Oh boy.
So the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
and what most people are pissed off about
Okay.
is the Penguin.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Now, I'm going to say this.
Cool.
I really like this version of the Penguin.
Yeah.
Oswalda
Mhm.
Cobblepot.
Mhm.
As a female penguin,
Mhm.
she gave me the vibes of Mama Fratelli from the Goonies.
Oh wow.
Okay.
She gave me that, like, that's how I felt. And to me personally,
Mhm.
making the penguin female, totally okay with it.
Again,
Because
doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's nowhere that states that the penguin has to be male.
Yeah.
And it doesn't state that it has to be female either.
Exactly.
But you know what, though? This brought a different dynamic to the character.
Mhm.
How she was a mother, how she, whatever she did to her kids.
Mother of one
They-
now.
Right, exactly.
They
Mhm.
still captured despite the gender change, they still captured the classic points of the penguin.
Exactly,
Like
exactly.
you had a floating cruise
Pancakes.
you had a floating cruise ship in the middle of the Gotham water
Harbor.
called the Ice Lounge.
Yep.
Right.
She still had the umbrella. She
Yep.
still had the hat.
She had all the elements that make the penguin the penguin. Pancakes, you literally took the thought right out of my head, and thank you for that. Because this is some characters have been done in the past, not even in like Batman, but in entertainment, where their defining character trait was I'm gay, or I'm the black guy, or I'm the Asian guy, or
Right.
something along those lines. That does not make a character. That is not a character trait. A character trait is what makes you interesting. I don't like this person for that guy. I love this person for this guy. This is my moral. This is how I feel about this. These are character traits,
Agreed.
not descriptions. And what we got over here, we got some people who just took one look, made a judgment call, and decided, I'm not going to watch this series because of this one judgment call. And I'm like, you know what? Shame on you.
Agreed. So, Pancakes, what were you talking about? Cast?
The work of the voice cast on the
Amazing.
show. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Starting with the lead, the gentleman that voiced Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Mhm.
I'll let you say the name since I'm the destroyer of
So,
since I'm the destroyer of.
his name is Hamish Linklater.
I think how he did the voice he made it his own, but he still did it as a tribute to the man Kevin Conroy.
Yes.
So like,
agree.
I'm not saying he did an impression of Kevin Conroy's Batman, but he did it in a way where he made it his own, but still captured the capture voice that we know and the voice that people will probably want to hear for a spiritual successor of the Batman animated series.
Absolutely.
Fun fact: the girl that voiced Harley Quinn on the show, Jamie Chung,
Yeah.
she actually had an arc on another Batman show, Gotham.
Right.
I should play the name of a reporter. The name escapes me, so I like that connection. A big name that caught my eye, that voice actor that's done so much, John DiMaggio.
Yeah.
Who I know from Futurama. First off,
He says that's the big name.
That,
What about the person who played Catwoman?
yeah. Oh my God, that's right.
oh, you guys can take this one.
Go ahead, Grim.
No. I'm gonna let you.
All
take
right,
this one,
okay.
Sid.
So it was our friend, Christina Ricci, and she did awesome as Catwoman.
Miss Wednesday Adams.
Yes, Miss Wednesday Adams.
I'm vibing right now.
No,
Yeah, no, honestly, overall, I think the voice cast knocked it out of the park. I thought they were great, every last one of them. I kind of felt like the standout to this personally was, as Pancake said, Joe DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio.
Excuse me, I apologize for butchering his name. John, please don't fire me. John DiMaggio, I felt did great. I felt like he captured the essence of Bullock. Like we got like the same kind of essence from the original animated series, but we were kids and we couldn't really determine like what was so bad about Bullock. We do actually get to see like Bullock being the dirty cop that he is, and I'm like, oh,
they put hints of it. Like he went to the line in the animated series, but they kept them good.
But yeah,
this one, forget about it.
But they never crossed it. And the thing that made him bad was the fact that like he's the only cop that doesn't like Batman, and I'm like, man.
Now the voice, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the guy that voiced Harvey Dent, Two-Face, knocked out of the park. And when I got the name, I'm like,
yeah,
really him?
Yeah.
This character from the Drew Carey show from back in the 90s?
Yeah.
Wow.
Diedrich Bader, like, oh my God, he nailed it.
He has a prominent voice. He's been in a lot of projects, but can I talk about Harvey Dent for 2 seconds?
Go right ahead.
Por favor. This is my favorite Batman villain. I watched majority of the show yesterday, and I had 3 episodes to watch today. And ironically, it was the last 3 episodes, and I looked at this and I'm like, I feel like these are the 3 weakest episodes, if I'm being completely honest.
The last 3?
The last 3 episodes I felt like were a little weak. Harvey, I felt like I loved the fact that he had a split personality disorder personally. And, you know, because you had Harvey and then Big Bad Harv. Let's just like take
he's
this
a
from
tragic character.
Yes, exactly. But this one, we still had the tragedy of him paying for his sins for, you know, coming to the mob. But with this one, I just feel like they made him crazy and that's it. I felt it was like a little lazy and they didn't put like as much effort as they did into the animated series one. But
with this version of Harvey, I felt that they made him more of a jerk off compared to like previous, before he loses his mind, before he gets the acid thrown in his face. Like he's more of a pure character. He has the right intentions.
Well, yes and no too.
And he goes to the line, but this one, he made this one a little more scummy in a way.
Yes and no, because you had him be like the typical DA, in which case, you know, he is going to like let some criminal slide, not take like as much like, you know, well, what's the word for it? I don't know, but he's good. He's gonna like, you know, let something slide. He's not gonna let things slide. He's very wishy-washy with this.
Yeah.
And then towards the end where he wants to run for mayor, that's when like we get to the quote unquote meat and potatoes with this one.
Mm.
And I kind of feel like we got more potatoes and not enough meat, if that means anything.
I thought you know, they made him more of a political person. Like he's running
more realistic politics.
He's running for mayor from the beginning. He's, you know, but then, you know, people see through him. They think he's fake and phony and trying to play the political game and think he's another rich another guy just rubs shoulders with the rich people of Gotham.
That's
That's it.
actually another thing that, as I was trying to go back to earlier with talking about like Batman and his very slow progression of which, like, yes, making mistakes and everything with year one. We're like, oh yeah, Harvey, I'm gonna try to help you, but in this really bad way, I'm gonna try to help you and
Right.
kind of put you in the spotlight. And it's like, no, I don't need this. I need professional help. No, that's fine. Let's go over here. And it's like, no, I don't want to go over there. It's like, no, it's fine. Fine. I'm just gonna lose my shit and just take it out on people.
Yeah, the only issue that's the biggest issue that I had about this series, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Mhm.
My biggest issue with this series was the fact that it was so short.
Mhm.
I understand the budgets and everything like that. I
Yep.
get it. But this new thing of making TV shows, only 10 episodes, whether it's a TV show or an animated series or anything like that, 10 episodes sometimes is just not enough. And I feel like if this was 10 years ago, it would have had a straight 20 episode
Absolutely.
thing and we would have enjoyed it more. So
I also feel like 10 years ago, because it isn't as far away as you think,
no,
unfortunately.
it's not. You're right.
But like 10 years ago, they would have given us 8 episodes and then be like an hour long each.
Right.
To the point where I'm like,
That's
I
good.
don't know if you could fit that much. Like now we're like looking to like shove things in here too.
The-
I don't know.
The good news, gentlemen, season 2 is already in production.
All right.
Prime ordered two seasons. Bruce Timm was already quoted in an interview that scripts are already being worked on.
Nice.
Okay.
Recordings are happening for the voices,
Very
so
good.
at least we have that time frame. I don't know, but at least we're getting that.
I would say this time next year.
Before we wrapped up, you mentioned the ending of the show.
Yes. Okay.
And
So
I'm surprised we didn't see him the whole season.
no,
I'm
no,
glad.
no,
I'm
no,
glad we didn't
no.
see him.
Listen to me, because this actually upset me with this. The worst thing about this show, is at the very end, because DC just can't help themselves.
Or Warner Brothers,
They
yeah.
can't help themselves but put the Joker into anything that's Batman related. And I thought we were going to get away with it this time. I really did. And then those Medley kids just came in and fucked it up for me personally.
Like, yeah, I was thinking, oh wow, the whole season without Batman, without the Joker, and then we get to that final scene, and then you see all the victims with the crazy smiles,
It's
and
not even the Joker that we like or that we're used to. We have a scientist Joker with no laugh as of yet or anything. And I'm like,
well, we didn't even see his face. We could just zoom in on his eyes.
man, I looked at this and I'm like, I'm seeing enough. You're taking a lot of cues
it's
from Heath
supposed
Ledger right now.
It's supposed to do the same thing that Matt Reeves did in the original Batman movie that he did. Throw him in there
Mhm.
just enough to say, oh, he's in there,
No,
but then not.
And
That's
then
the
the same thing at the end of Batman Begins when Batman meets Gordon on the roof
And he gets the
then
Joker
he
card.
gets the Joker card saying this criminal is attacking Seats
that
plant.
I don't mind because it's a card. It's a nod. We're not
Right.
actually seeing him and him being there, and we have to pay an actor to be there for all of like 5
At
seconds.
least with
Right.
at least with the Matt Reeves Batman, it was a deleted scene.
Yeah,
Came
guess
out
what? Someone
after.
got paid for that too.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, yeah. So the question goes out to you guys. What do you guys think? Did you like the series? Did you hate the series? Do you agree with Big Grim? Or
Fine.
do you agree with Pancakes? Or do you just say, you guys are all full of shit? Let us know in the comment section down below.